Where did the knife tool go? Well, it's still in Art Canvas, but it doesn't work. I used the knife tool in Art Canvas quite a lot in the past. It was a bit fiddly, but it did work. And it's very useful if you want to, if you're doing your own artwork in Art Canvas and you want to cut a piece away and leave the rest intact, or if you want to cut a piece away and move it somewhere else. I used it extensively in my bobbin lace course, and I'll be putting this video in that course so that people know how to work around the issue in version 9. So basically I'll show you what happens if you try to use the knife first. So I'm going to come over here to our tools, and the knife tool is in the crop flyout menu, second one along, and you can still select the knife tool and your cursor will change to look like a knife tool. But as soon as you left click to start drawing your line where you want to cut, if I wanted to cut through here, as soon as I left click and drag to draw that line, I get this pop-up menu asking me to sign in to Corel. I'm already signed into Corel, so I'm just going to close this box. Instead of continuing, come up here to the X and close. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to cancel? And go yes, and you will be back where you were. You've still got the knife tool. You can try again and the same thing will happen. It just will not work. There is a way to get around it though, and I suspect the reason we haven't got that knife tool working anymore is because there is no knife tool at all in our Corel Draw SE version that came with the software, the standalone version, and I'll show you that shortly. But in the meantime, the first thing I want to do is show you how to work around the problem that you cannot cut a line in Art Canvas anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, in Embroidery Canvas, the knife tool in there works as it always has and is fine. So you can cut your embroideries with the knife tool in Embroidery Canvas. But I'm talking about Art Canvas and the drawing tools. So let's get rid of this knife tool by going to the select tool, and let's select this line, and I'm going to try and cut it through here. And the way I found to do it is to go to the Reshape tool, and thanks Sue for helping me with this, and I'm going to right click exactly where I want to cut, and it will give me some options here. So just choose the break apart option. So left click, and if I zoom in now, I've actually got 2 nodes there where I didn't have any. It's very hard to see, but there's one at the end of this side pointing in that same direction, and this is the one from this side pointing in that direction. I'll actually pull them apart so you can see. So if I grab that, there we go. I probably had them around the wrong way, but you have now got 2 separate nodes that you can move individually, and if I let go, I have a gap there. If we look over to our objects docker, and if you haven't got it there and it's not listed here, you can click on the plus and put a check mark next to the objects docker so that it shows up. We can see on this layer that we only have 1 curve still, even though I've broken it apart. I'm just going to undo so that I've still got those 2 nodes there. It's still broken apart in the fact that there's 2 nodes and I can separate them, but I've still only got 1 curve. So the next option is to get your select tool, right click on the object again, and you'll get this option break curve apart. So if you left click on that, you will notice a little tiny white line across here if you're really zoomed in, and you'll notice even more that in the layer 1 now you have 2 separate curves. So if I zoom out and click off, I can now select those parts of the curve individually and either delete them or move them as two separate objects. It's quite a neat way of doing it, and so I think you'll find that that is a very useful procedure to know. Now let's just have a look at the Corel standalone program. I'll just bring that up now. There we go. So I have a line here and I want to cut it. So I'm now in Corel standalone. I'm no longer in the Bernina software. And so I'll come over here, and the knife tool used to be under the crop tool. So if I go to the fly out menu here, but it's not there. I have a crop, a virtual segment delete, and an eraser. That's all. So again, I cannot cut this line with a knife tool. So again, if I want to cut this, I need to go to my Reshape tool. I need to decide where I want to cut, hover over the line, right click, and click on break apart. You can break it apart in more places, more than one place, so I can come over here and right click and break that apart as well. However, I've still only got a single curve in my object docker, so to completely break the curve apart, so I'll then have three separate curves. I need to select the object again. I need to hover exactly over the line and right click, and I'll be given the option to break the curve apart. And now in my object dialog, I've got three separate curves. So I can then select this bottom part of the curve that I cut here, and I could delete that. So I hope that's been helpful to you. I have reported this to Bernina, and I'm just waiting for a response from that.